Hello, I'm Joanne Bryck, and I'm a mother of three, two of which are on the autism spectrum. And I've worked for the federal government full-time basis for 30 plus years. So I had the kids in between working as a full-time person in the government. My two children are older, but my story is to let you know to have hope, because things do work out for these children, and you'd be surprised. Okay. Our son is Kalen. He's 23 years old, and he's diagnosed with Asperger syndrome disorder along with ADHD. Sorry, I forgot the hyperness. And he was diagnosed at 7. We will hear him later on, like Justina said. In his preschool childhood, my husband and I noticed that Kalen had difficulty with socializing with other kids. But we thought that maybe that was natural because he was our first child, and just didn't know the process to share. When he started junior kindergarten, he became more frustrated, and then we were told to have him check for his hearing, his eyes, his physical anxiety issues, but they never found anything wrong. It wasn't until he was in grade 2 that his teacher approached us and suggested that he should be tested for autism. At the time, we didn't know very much about autism, but except that they were children that didn't like to be touched or hugged, and that threw me for a loop because I love to hug my kids. Once diagnosed with Asperger syndrome disorder and ADHD, we were relieved, actually, because we finally could look at different ways to help Kalen. He had a diagnosis. Now we needed to find help, and we needed to help him. We began reading and researching anything to do with autism. And actually we started a grieving process for what he would not be able to do and accomplish. Boy, were we wrong. Kalen was the first child with his actual autism spectrum diagnosis, at his elementary school. I provided lots of my research and assist the teachers with the way to help Kalen in his studies. We attended courses from CHEO such as ABA and peers because they were older kids. And we continued our research and reading everything we could put our hands on. But the one thing that we learned really quickly that was the most important is that we observed how Kalen's learning style was and his behavior was. So I kept a journal of all that, and I kept all his school reports handy, that when the next school year started, I was able to inform the new multiple teachers how to help Kalen and the way he was changing and learning. Kalen became the autism ambassador at his high school. He provided an oral presentation to the township and his school on Autism Day when he was in grade 12. Kalen was shocked and very happy that day as he got his first standing ovation from all the students and teachers at his school. I am proud of Kalen's hard work and determination to achieve his goals. As high school came to a finish, we realized Kalen can do anything he sets his mind to. Now for my daughter. My daughter is Jaden. She's 20 years old and was also diagnosed with autism. We will hear her journey a little bit later also, or after me. My husband and I were told that she had a high chance of being on the autism spectrum due to her brother's diagnosis. So we had her tested, even though she was showing signs of being more social than Kaylin. Jaden always enjoyed being around people, but her inability to converse and be understood was one of her issues. She was an emotional child and she showed her frustration often. We had her evaluated in the private sector, then at CHEO. She was diagnosed with having PDD-NOS. This is a term which is no longer used, but it meant that she had more than just autism challenges. At an early age, we would always tell Jaden how proud we were of her for being so helpful and polite. We didn't know how she really enjoyed hearing this until one day, going into a mall, Jaden opened the doors as she usually did for her grandmother and I, but this time she stopped from entering and let a man pass ahead of us. The man entered, but did not say a word to Jaden. She ran after him and pulled on his pant leg and told him, say thank you to Jaden. She had learned what people's correct response should be for various actions, but she didn't understand that what to do when they weren't forthcoming. So a lot of explanation came in afterwards for her safety and knowing not to do that again to her mom. When Jaden was about 6 years old, we were again in the store. She got angry and there was no calming her. She had stepped into a changing room. We had stepped into a changing room and I tried to calm her down and nothing worked. So I decided she needed some time out and I told her to stay in the room and I would wait outside of the room until she calmed down. People in the area told me that I wasn't a good mother. I should never leave my child in a room like that. But as I heard my child yelling and making a ruckus in the room, I thought to myself, they have no idea how to deal with it and care for an autistic child in a crisis. So I let them be. Once Jaden calmed down, I was able to explain to her what was not acceptable and explain how to let me know when she was frustrated, angry, and needed my attention. Jaden never had another crisis like that again. I learned, pay more attention to Jaden's requests in public, and we were both happy. I always told my children that being on the autism spectrum only meant that they learned differently than other people. My mission was to find a way to make learning easy and fun for them. One method that I used was simply let Kaylin run around the dining room table, completing every math equation as he could not sit still. Another method was to read all the school books with the kids to ensure they understood the stories. I learned really early that Kaylin could read the words, but didn't understand what he read. Jaden, on the other hand, had difficulty reading the words and couldn't even imagine what was in the story in her head. Another of the teaching them was with humor. Because I wanted to make learning a pleasant experience, one of the hardest things for both children was to make decisions. I would try and think of something funny and let them know that even my choices were funny or very different from other people. That didn't mean that it wasn't a good choice. Today, it's still hard for them to make decisions, but we always have fun trying. The process of learning hasn't always been easy for my children, but they have exceeded all my expectations. Jaden is in second semester of college today, and Kaylin has earned one college diploma and is working on his second one. Again, no more grieving for us. She also is showing us she can do anything she puts her mind to. So my biggest suggestion is take the time to know your child and help them learn their own way. CHEO provided us with great help and guidance. Let them help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. And with that, we'll pass the baton to Jaden, who will be presenting next.
Yup. Hi. I'm a little nervous right now, but I'll try my best not to mess up my words. Hello, my name is Jaden Bryck. I just turned 20 years old this January. I am a student at Franco-Ontarien College at La Cité Collégiale in Ottawa. I'm in a 2-year program called Intégration communautaire par l'éducation coopérative. It's a program for students with autism or learning disabilities. Learning disabilities. It helps students achieve a college certificate, an understanding of college life, and work team co-op with courses that are adaptable to their needs and limitations. I really enjoy school now because I have 2 classmates that have become my best friend, closest friends. They have the same learning style as I do, and we share many interests. When I was in preschool, I always seemed to be having trouble understanding what people were asking me to do most of the time. I was frustrated because no one seemed to understand what I wanted or what I was trying to tell them. Because my older brother, Kalen, was being evaluated for autism when he was 7 years old, my parents were already able to recognize that I was having my own challenges. Since I was having difficulties learning and had a high chance of also being on the spectrum, it was decided that I should be evaluated at the same time as him. I was 5 years old at the time, so there was an age difference. It wasn't until I was about 7 when I was finally diagnosed with having an autism spectrum disorder. When I was older, my mom told me it was harder to diagnose me because of comorbid conditions, which I'll tell you what they are. That was a big way of saying autism was not my only challenge. When I was evaluated at 5, it was found that I had ADD, which was so high that the doctors couldn't properly diagnose me until I was on medication. At the time, my mom was told that when children appear to have multiple disorders, doctors are sometimes hesitant to label a child until they are older. They like to get them reevaluated at different ages, which is very reasonable. When I was about 8, I was asked to take part in a University of Ottawa studies on diagnosing kids with multiple disorders. The testing indicated I had a learning disability, short-term memory issues, as well as autism spectrum disorder and ADD. Those two always get me mixed up. Other testing indicated that I also have a form of dyslexia, which explains my reading difficulties, and it does become annoying. I always work hard and try to do my best, whether in school or while attending my CHEO ABA courses. In ABA and peers workshop, I learned many things, including social skills and ways to deal with my anxiety, which is in progress. Because my parents were required to be part of the CHEO workshop, my mom and dad learned a lot about autism as well. My mom was really involved with my schooling, and she was able to pass on lots of information to my teachers so they could continue to help me and others as well. Back then, teachers did not have all the resources that are available today, but they did have my mom. They were really happy that she was so involved with my education, which they still are. At the end of May in 2018, I had the opportunity to be part of the Ontario Special Olympics in Peterborough. It was a great experience. I got to meet many other kids just like me, and we had a special guest who encouraged us. My teachers told me I was really good at running, but I really didn't like it much because it tires me out easily. I did manage to get several medals, including getting first place in the 100-meter sprint. So I was happy. I was tired, but happy at the same time. 2 years ago, I was asked to be part of another new study at CHEO. The goal of the project was to help new doctors identify children and teenagers that may be on the spectrum. All I had to do was talk to them. I told them about some of my experiences in my own words. I really like to talk, but I wasn't expecting to see so many people in the room. I asked my mom to stay with me because I became nervous. This helped to encourage me and keep a smile on my face while my brain was in total panic mode. I found that if I just pretend that I was talking, that I was only speaking with one person and not a crowd of people, I was not as nervous, and it worked. As I talked, I got more confident and talked a lot. I think they got quite a bit of the real me. I was really happy. I was really proud of myself for helping. I watched TV shows and movies such as The Good Doctor, The Accountant, and Life Animated, which I suggest to watch. They show what great potential people like me can have and give me the courage to keep working towards my dreams. I have more good friends now who really understand me, and they know that I'm a special person. My family is also very supportive. When I have a bad day at school, it's great to know that they have my back and help me cheer up. As for the future, I plan on being a writer of fantasy stories, anime fan stories, which I mentioned, and a designer of fantasy costume and accessories, which I made something like this, if you can see it correctly, within a little bag. Life can be hard when you are different, but having good friends and a supporting family around to help me through everything, I really try to not get down and work towards being the best version of myself I can be every single day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaden. I know we're all muted, but I see everyone in their little windows clapping. And I have to say, it didn't seem like you were nervous at all. So you're a very good public speaker, and your earrings are beautiful.
Thanks.
All right. And I'm going to pass the speaker microphone, I guess, to your brother now. Kaylin, it's up to you.
All right. Hello. Yeah, I might be a little nervous as well, but I shouldn't be. I've done lots of speeches before. So my name is Kaylin Bryck. I am presently a student at the Computers Engineering and Technology slash Computer Science program at Algonquin College, which is in Ottawa. But I've also graduated in a 3-year program, college program, which it was 3D animation at the Franco-Ontarian College La Cité Collégiale, which is also in Ottawa. I was 7 years old when I was first told that I had autism, the Asperger's Asperger syndrome disorder, and ADHD. My mom had informed me that it was just another way of learning compared to most children. However, for me, all I saw it was I had to take very horrible tasting medicine inside yogurt each and every single day, which was absolutely disgusting. I really didn't like it. Autism and ADHD affects my behavior, my reactions, and my concentration levels. It also affects my social abilities in many ways. I have difficulty forming friendships with others, some difficulties with communications, such as I have a tendency of taking words literally and taking expressions literally, and having an inability to understand the social rules and body language. When I was young, I was told to look people in the eyes to talk when I'm talking to them, as it was a polite way of having a conversation. Although for me, I would concentrate so much on looking at the person's face that I would forget to listen to what they were saying, which didn't really help. I still find it a little bit difficult to this day, but I have gotten better with it over the years. Another childhood experience of mine was when my mom was reading me some Garfield comic strips. She would read them to me and then look at me when she's finished reading, and I would laugh. One night, she had asked me if I understood the joke of the comic, and given that I can't lie very well, I said, no, I didn't get it. Now confused, she asked me, why did I laugh? And I told her that she would always pause and look at me whenever she was done reading one of the comic strips. And I figured it was the appropriate time to laugh. And I had memorized what people wanted from me so I can do it again the next time. And from then on, my mom let me know that whenever I didn't understand one of the jokes, just to let her know, and she'll tell me. But luckily for me, I found out that I didn't really have to do so, since she would always ask me if I understood each question ever since then. I remember a school project where I had to describe a character, what he was wearing, and where they lived. I chose a wizard, but I had no idea how to dress them up or find a place for them to live, and I was really frustrated. My mom decided to create a wizard of her own. The first choice was to choose the hat that they were wearing, and then the color. My mom decided they would have a green baseball cap. For me, I strongly disagreed, saying that like wizards don't wear baseball hats. But she told me that I can make the wizard anything that I would like it to be, and she was making her own to show me that. So the next thing was like the hat. So for me, I decided it's going to be a pointy black hat, wizard hat. And then it was time to decide the cape. My mom decided, why not have I have no idea how to say that, but like a pink cape. And for me, I had a I disagreed with her once again, saying like, and but Hugh told me that this is her wizard, and she can make it as what she wants it to be. So I decided mine is going to wear a black cape, and then it came to the shoes, which my mom decided flashy purple slippers. I don't know why you would choose that, mom, for a wizard, but and my reaction was the exact same. I disagreed, and but this time I was laughing with her, and mine had pointy black shoes as well. So then my mom then we had to decide where it's going to live, and once again I had no idea where mine would live at the time, and my mom decided, well, hers is going to live in the clothes dryer. And she said if the wizard would get cold, he would just let him spin for a while and he would warm up. Although we disagreed on what the wizard would wear and live, I had fun. We finished the homework in record time, and I've never forgotten what each of our wizards looked like or where they lived. Another challenge of mine was when I had my first multiple choice test in high school, which turned out to be a complete disaster. Many of the questions had correct answers, but some of them, they had like multiple right answers, but we could only choose one of them, which was the right one. And it was so hard for me that I decided, well, I'm not going to answer those questions. So I just left them blank. And then I failed that test pretty badly, as you can probably tell. But then my teachers and my mom had got together to provide me the trick to completing those tests, which is to choose the one that has the most accurate information. And from then on, I've been doing well in those kind of questions and never had that issue again. I've been very lucky to have great parents, teachers, the CHEO ABA courses, and a best friend who took the time to know me and respect me for who I am. My suggestion when working with autistic people would be to call them by their name to get their attention, to be patient and understanding with them, to ask precise questions, and take the time to get to know the person. Everyone wants friends, but some of us can't make them easily. I highly recommend any of you to recommend any help you can get from the CHEO's autism program. And this is not on the script, but there's this one quote I've been always looking at when it comes to autism, which is like the autism spectrum is kind of like snowflakes. When combined all together, it's like snow. It's all put into one term, but each snowflake is unique. So each person, each child with autism, it will be different from one another. So there's never two snowflakes the same. So I hope you enjoyed that speech, and